All right, traders, let's get into our recap for today. It is Thursday, November 30th, last day of the month. Let's see how our trading went today and what happened in the markets. Let me share with you a little bit about the markets themselves. And markets moved up today again, a little bit more. We continue to just try to break above this ascending wedge piece here. I'll actually take this off a bit so you can see, but we had some resistance here. We couldn't get above, couldn't get above, couldn't get above, tried to get above, still couldn't get above, and then today finally moving up. MACD, though, on a daily continues to is just continuing to tail off slowly. This is the slowest MACD decline here, but the RSI continues to stay and power a little bit even higher today. So MACD, no change in that, continues to fall, but RSI continues to be overbought as we get right back up to that 3 ATR. Markets are overbought. They've been overbought for a couple weeks now. Nothing seems to be happening except just more sideways consolidation. I don't know if there's enough juice to get us cranked up, but maybe there is a little bit more. So we'll see. We're going to enter a new month here. We're still a couple weeks away from a real Santa rally option. So I still think a pullback is coming, but you are not getting it here at all. Weekly still pretty strong. I think it's a weird candle up here, but weekly is still pretty strong on SPY as it's moving higher. If we're looking at the Qs were down today. RSI finally breaking from that overbought level, matching MACD, which is falling. We triggered a bearish PSAR reversal today. So while SPY's hanging in there and even had a pretty decent day, tech taking a little bit of a drop. I mean, not a massive drop, but enough to trigger a PSAR bullish signal today, as well as MACD continuing to fall at almost to the zero line. And you've got RSI starting to tip over underneath the overbought level. So there's definitely some cracks here potentially coming on NASDAQ, but definitely not on SPY. And if we look at IWM small caps, well, really much a sideways move today. I mean, it was up fractionally, 0.4%, same as SPY, just moving sideways. I mean, yeah, it's trying to break out, not breaking out. There's just not a whole lot of anything going on. Overall, though, the move has been positive and it's been higher here, and we're just consolidating. MACD's still falling, but RSI is rising. Nothing's overbought here on IWM, and on the weekly, MACD and RSI look pretty solid to keep going. So maybe that's where, tech's down a bit, but small caps are moving up, keeping SPY from really moving one way or the other. Look at the put call ratio today. It was up fractionally, but not a whole lot of anything there. VIX down even further here. So VIX is just remains dead and dormant at a pretty low level. I still think it's a good potential space to look to add some long calls, but in VIX, but frankly, the premium's terrible, and I don't think there's a good option to be had there. If we look at DXY, the dollar today, pretty good jump on the dollar, jumping up pretty heavily. MACD has been improving. RSI was coming off of these oversold levels, and we saw that more in the dollar today. So the dollar jumped, and despite the dollar jumping, market still hung in there pretty decently, but a pretty good move higher on the dollar could potentially, on any kind of more of an up move, switch from a bearish PSAR level to a bullish PSAR signal. How does that play into everything? We'll keep an eye out, but that's certainly going to mess with Forex a bit. And then, of course, you've got rates, and the rates, while they've been in this downtrend here, may have bottomed out a bit yesterday, may rise a little bit. I don't think rates are done going down. I also don't think that there's not going to be a rally at some point in rates here as well. So the economy continues to percolate along. We're seeing that in the data. I think, and one thing I was going to show everybody today is, I think if we can, we'll jump into the Fed Watch tool. See if I can pull it up quickly while we're here. I should have a link to that somewhere quickly. Maybe not. But we'll keep going, and if I can pull it up and get into that FedWatch tool, I usually have a link to it. I just don't see it anywhere here. But what we're seeing is the market's pricing in a 50-50 shot of the Fed reducing rates, I believe out in March now. I don't think so. Uh, Maybe it'll happen, but in order for the Fed to change its course, something dramatic's going to have to break. It's not because inflation and the economy not slowing down. Okay, things are not slowing down the way they should. Everybody's all excited, okay? But just because they're excited doesn't mean that things aren't going well or things are going the way the Fed wants them to go. So we'll take a look at that, but we'll look at that FedWatch tool in a bit later. But if we look at the data from today as well, looking at the reports that came out this morning, you had on the U.S. I mean, we had core PCE coming in exactly as expected, so no big change there. Unemployment claims did come in slightly weaker than projected, but they were an increase from the previous month. So while unemployment came in a little bit weaker, it was still pretty close, and it was definitely an increase from last week. And personal spending still clicking along overall. And then Chicago PMI on the day came in a little stronger. So you're still seeing PMI heading up. You're still seeing a lot of things happening in the industry that doesn't indicate the Fed going to stop. So I don't know why the market's thinking one way. I just don't think the Fed is thinking the exact same way. And I think once the market starts to realize that maybe the Fed is not going to blink here, then maybe this quick rate sell-off might get a pretty good little reverse. Maybe that's happening here. We'll see. It's one day on it. And then on the same side, TLT dropping on the session here as well. So dropping down as rates continue to move up. If we take a look at futures here overall, we'll start with 6A. You would think futures would be down today with the dollar up, and of course they are. So 6A is dropping a bit. 6B, which is the British pound, dropping a bit. Now Canadian dollar did hang in there and moved up slightly. And then the euro, pretty good down day on the euro, almost a 9.9% down day session on the euro. A pretty good size drop and continues to move, I believe, in the after hours here. And today we did trigger a bearish PSAR signal. So getting a little bit of a pullback here. How is that going to bode for, with the dollar? Who knows? But if the dollar is going to show a little bit of strength coming in here, rates may start to bump up a tad. Things might have been a little overdone and people might have gotten a little carried away. ZB, good for us. Helps our 112 trade out here with bonds dropping on the session on the 30-year. Oil was up today and then gave it all back after OPEC came out. They did reiterate some price cuts, but I don't think people thought the price cuts were enough. The production cuts were enough, and I don't think people believe that OPEC can keep its member nations in line. And I think there's just a whole lot of cheating going on out there, and the U.S. is cranking production as we go. So OPEC, I don't think did anywhere near enough. I think they're struggling to get the members all on board with price cuts, and what they came out with today was not much of a price cut at all. So on that news, oil did drop on the session. All good for us. Here, we're out of most of our naked puts on the gain this morning. So on the big spike up this morning, we got out of our naked puts for winners, and now we're sitting in some one triangle and a bunch of 112s. So dropping here, beautiful for us. So I love where we are in oil, and it remains in this box, and it's just not moving outside of this range. Gold, a little bit of a pullback today, a little exhaustion up here above the 3 ATR. And MACD still climbing, but RSI was overbought and ticked down on the session. So a little bit of a pullback in gold on the daily. Weekly still pretty strong and heading higher. If we look at copper, moved up fractionally on the session today, 0.75%. MACD and RSI still heading higher on the daily and the weekly. If we take a look at live cattle futures, they jumped up pretty significantly early on in the session, and then finished, were lower. They jumped up higher, finished about halfway through that session. So really almost an unchanged day, down just a fraction, down 1%. Not a huge move today on live cattle, which is perfect for us in our strangle trades. Love where we are on that. And then nat gas starting to get interesting in here. So I think looking at nat gas, pretty interesting trade. A pretty good sell-off heading down in here. And you've got MACD starting to climb a bit, RSI starting to hold on. The weekly still shows potentially some more weakness coming, and you are in a bearish PSR reversal signal. However, I think this is a good spot to continue to start to look at a 112 trade heading into the winter, colder months ahead. Even though inventories are pretty good, I think this might be a good opportunity on NG for a nat gas 112 trade. So we'll keep an eye on that. Oil volatility did drop on the session today. Gold volatility did drop in the session. Oil volatility, though, is still pretty elevated. I think that bodes well for a trade in oil. Taking a quick look at the sectors. Not going to spend too much time on here. Your big sector movers today was biotech, having a pretty good day. It finished well off its highs, up 2.2%. XLV, healthcare, up pretty good today, up 1.2%. And then financials up over 1% today. Industrials up 1%. A lot of defensive sectors up today. And if we look at what was down today, well, semis were down for the second day here. Consumer discretionary down here for the second day. And then communications down, and XLY down as well. And XLK, your tech stocks, just fractionally up on the session, but really not a whole lot of anything here. So if you're looking at the sectors, a lot of defensive names moved up, which I think is what's kept keeping the SPY where it is, and the Qs starting to drop. Are we seeing some cracks in tech? I think that's what you got to ask yourself is, are there some potential cracks coming in tech? If we look at Apple, it was up fractionally on the day, but triggered a bearish PSR signal with MACD crossing the zero line to the downside, RSI falling. Microsoft, same thing. Even though it was a fractional up day, 6 cents up, really a sideways day. You had a MACD cross of the zero line, RSI falling on the daily. Overbought on the weekly as well. Amazon falling today, same type of thing, bearish PSR. So all these had bearish PSR signals today. Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, all MACD and RSI falling on the weekly. Meta, 3 days of a bearish PSR signal, MACD and RSI falling. This one looks a little worse than some of the others. Google, pretty good down day today, dropping 1.82%. So Meta and Google down heavily. That's why communication sector was down. MACD, RSI falling. Maybe we're getting that tech pullback that we've been really looking for. NVIDIA down 2.8% today. MACD and RSI falling there. This has been in a bearish PSR reversal for about a week now. You got Tesla falling on the day. We're in this triangle pattern. We'll see what happens, but MACD still dropping a bit and RSI dropping a bit. And then Netflix here, bearish PSR signal, MACD dropping, and RSI overbought but dropping as well. So all of these, despite the weekly, the daily charts have all been negative. We're finally seeing a little bit of a crack, a little bit of selling. The question is, will this selling accelerate tomorrow and then potentially into next week? And do we see some of those defensive sectors start to climb? If we take a look at our account here today, let's jump in quickly on the IRA account. Did we hit a new all-time high? I believe we did. So the IRA ended the month up with a $6,905 realized gain, 2.89. Our goal in an IRA is only 1.5% a month, 18% a year. So a 3%, 2.9% month, pretty good. We'll take that in realized gains. Setting a new all-time high for the IRA trade. So happy about where we are on the IRA. Let's take a look at the main trading account today. End of the month. Let's see where we finished. We finished today with a negative delta, which is beautiful. I love the fact our delta is negative just as the market's potentially tipping over. I'm not saying the market's crashing, but any kind of a pullback here with us having slightly negative delta, beautiful. We are positioned exactly perfectly, in my opinion, with delta 0.02%. We are so flat with slightly negative delta. It's beautiful where we are. Our theta dropped a little bit more. We had a couple trades come off, 1,015, 0.3%. Not too bad. We need to get some trades on. I was looking at an LE trade as well, so we'll take a look at that. A 112 trade on LE and potentially another strangle out there on oil, or one of our favorites as we go. Also, taking a look at net lick today. Net lick was up 333,639. That is definitely a new all-time high. So smashing the old all-time high from a couple of weeks ago by $2,000 today. Beautiful up day, making almost $4,000, a little over $3,000 on our net lick today. New all-time highs, ending the month on a high note. Fantastic. So buying power usage dropped slightly, 60% overall. 10% of that's bill. We're sitting at 50% on BP. Beautiful, exactly where we want to be on that. And our daily realized up $1,010. We had two more trades closed today. We finished the month 25,448 to the upside. It is the largest single realized gains month we have ever had in this account since we started this account. And this account is a little over 4 years old. We started it with 30 grand. And we've parlayed it up now to $333,000. This month alone, 25,448 in realized gains. It's almost more in realized gains this month than we opened this account at over 4 years ago. So we're up almost 8% on the month, 7.95% on the month in realized income. Our net lick was up 13,522, which is 4.2%. So doing really well on the net lick as well. And having just a fantastic month. Biggest gainers for the month, long-term 112s. As you can see down here, long-term 112s up almost $10,000, 9,795. But our strangles paid off big time this month, $12,000 worth of strangle trades. And then a few other 112 trades at 4,700. So overall, really good month. Zero DTE. We didn't do a lot lately. This has been no volume and nothing exciting to do. So I really haven't done anything. Yeah, we're down $50 on the month. We haven't traded any leap puts for a while. And spec trades were down a little over $1,000. Most of that being some hedges that we had on early in the month that we're out of now. We'll take a quick look at the small account. Still not much happening here. We are slightly off of an all-time high, but we had a really good month. Up $669 in realized gains, up 4.37% in a small account, which is fantastic because you can't do everything in these small accounts. It's only a $15,000 account. We are up, though, for the year, $4,000 in this account. So we started the year at 11. We started this account last year at $10,000 in November. So for in 1 year now, we're up $5,300 in this account. We are up 50%. In a year so far, and we're up about 40%, just under 40% this year since January 1. So again, great on the small account. We don't add funds to it. We just trade what we have, and I share those trades with you guys. Speaking of those trades, let's look at the two trades today. And those two trades were oil futures, naked puts. They closed while we were sleeping, so we woke up to a bunch of money this morning. One was put on the 18th. The other one was put on the 30th of last month. So it took 43 days and 31 since oil had that drop and then a little bit of a recovery here. We gained 50%. That's our close on both those trades, and over 11% return on margin. So again, strangles continue to be great, but naked puts also really good on the month. That really helped our overall spec trades as well here. So two good trades totaling $1,010 on the month, setting us to new record, all-time highs, best month ever. We're excited to see where we go next month and into 2024. Have a whole new tracking sheet ready to come out. And we've also got a brand new trade plan with all kinds of great adjustments and new stuff in it for members. Today was the last day for that Black Friday sale that we had. If you want to join us in the Discord, you can still use the 40 OFF code. If you want to get in, it will expire at midnight tonight. We are close to maxed out. I think we only have about 15 spots left, and then we're done for now. I know it sounds salesy, but technically we only set it for 200 members, and we've got 100 and I think 80 some odd members that have joined. So we're in the teens. If you want to see what we're doing, get the new trade plan, see what we're doing, see what all the new members are bringing with some ideas. Unbelievably cool stuff that we're getting into here. A lot of new live videos that we're doing. We don't share those here on my YouTube channels. Those are all just for members. Unbelievable amount of instruction. So let's go for the day. Great month, great day today, but really loved where we are. Can't wait to see where we're heading to next month and into 2024. If you like this video, as always, click that like button below. Could really use your help. Feel free to subscribe if you're not a subscriber. If you want to check the Discord out, go ahead and use that 40 OFF code. Jump into the Discord. Link will be in the description below if you want to get there. If you want to join us, great. If not, it's all good. You can continue to try to use the free stuff here and continue to learn. You guys take care. Have a great rest of your evening. Stay safe, everybody. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.